like the camo for the vibes. My favorite song, bro. I mean, I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's up there for sure. Dude fucks with this song. Naming tracks, man. Just gotta. When I export to mix, I learned from Underbelly, you know, the You Sucker producing guy. You just export everything. But now I gotta do all the levels again, and I gotta name everything, and so that's what I'm doing right now. Sometimes the funniest shit is like, maybe, like, what am I supposed to call this? A thing that needs some more auto-tune again, vocal? Like, I just called it ooh, 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 ooh. A fig, bro. Get yourself some fig. To my speakers, man, I just hold to my speakers, but I justify my This is how I get all of the trash on my desk. You're working on some mix or some shit, unwrap the fig, toss the fig, keep working on shit, forget about the fig, end up there. Hold to my speakers, but I justify my living. With the swamp to move, flooding oblivion. Dreams of an easy fast track to cities. Ships up the coast of my Broadway pavilion. Yeah, sounds like ass, bro. No effects, no mixing. Volumes aren't quite right. Just naming tracks. Beat Switch just got me thinking of like Madlib, you know? And like, I don't know if y'all seen recently, like Madlib's like fucking house and everything just burned down in the LA fires. So sad. I've seen people be like, oh, like he's rich, you know, he don't need our help. But it's not about that. It's about like all the memories, all the things, you know, gone. That's my ad lib right there. Alright, well, I got everything labeled. And like the volume's decent. So that's step one. Bro, what is this opening, man? I swear, if I get hit with another fucking gambit, bro, I don't know what to do. Here. Yeah, there's some gambit. I don't get it. Bishop here. I feel like, bro, this is too complex. This game is too hard, bro. This game is too hard. I want a castle because I feel like I'm in danger, but I feel like I'm actually not. Maybe I'm safer than I think. Because now I can do this. Wait, taking with what is better? Take with this. Kind of, I think I just win. He does look kind of cooked here. Because also my bishop's watching this. This. And this. And this. Yeah. Oh, I moved my king earlier. shit, I almost threw that game. But bro wanted a rematch. Hell no. Hell no. Hell no. I would get smoked in the next game.
But it becomes crucially important for the kind of account I've been trying to give, that if the project is what I said it was in the sets of lectures before,
anxiety telling me to pray before exhaustion. Safe in a great field, no one but me to come and torture. Shrouded in new colors, my creativity blossom.
One thing I was thinking about is a story that I was told in college. It's probably one of my favorite stories, and also most tragic stories. And I think it's at least pretty true. I mean, obviously it's romanticized, but if any of you all know the time period after World War I in Europe, in the science community, there was something called the Vienna Circle. It was a circle of expert physicists, chemists, biologists, a bunch of different scientists. But during this time in the Vienna Circle, there was this massive push for what we now call logical positivism. Logical positivism was an idea that had many different sort of ways of describing it, but the way that's been described to me, that's I feel like the most visceral, is trying to get science and math to map to the world directly, so that science can directly explain what the natural world is, and also that we can boil a lot of other human affairs down to simple scientific terms. Essentially, the idea being, at least politically, that we can avoid another world war after the catastrophes of World War I if we're just a little bit more rational, if we can be more scientifically thinking and so on. This idea was very popular for a very long time, and it failed miserably. Obviously, we know how it failed. Most of it had to do with that humans are much more complex than just data or some scientific theory. And there's a lot of different reasons for the rise of Hitler's regime. But he didn't give a fuck about logical positivism, only to make his bombs and other things like that. But he didn't care about any of that. He just wanted to stoke fear in people and animosity. And anyways, we know how that story went. And so I was thinking that in today's times, thinking about the LA fires, on how science propaganda or science education, we haven't really learned from this mistake. I see a lot of my colleagues, people who are in the science community, people who are enthusiastic about working to fight the climate crisis, say that we just need more science education, frustrated at the amount of people who are more willing to accept that these fires are either from God or from some mass terror campaign than from climate change, something we've documented seriously for at least 50 years. So, what's going on? Why is it so hard? We just need more science education. People need to be aware of the facts. And that's kind of sounds very similar to what was going on in the 20s and 30s in Europe, in the Vienna Circle. We just got to bring the facts out. We got to be rational. We got to do these things. And we forget that science has always been a model for looking at the world, for explaining the world. It's never been an accurate, foolproof way of understanding the natural world. It doesn't tell us what the natural world is. That is a problem much too hard to answer. It's about creating models that seem to work. And the ones that work the most and most reliably are the ones that we tend to rely on. We call them laws and so on. And this is why I've always found it very fascinating that there's all these debates, or it used to be more, there's not as many anymore, between religious people and secular science-minded people of these vigorous debates, and each side calling each other stupid. I've always thought they're just speaking completely different languages. There's no point in having a conversation about it. But I think that in terms of understanding the climate crisis, we really need to see science as a model and teach it as a model, and that it's mostly just gambling, you know? It's inductive reasoning. It's trying to get probabilities of what the world might be. And for the case of climate change, we have a lot of data, we've done a lot of work, but no one can claim that it's definitive, that we know for sure that we know how nature works. We don't. We don't. But we have a model that's pretty reliable, and the model's worked and been pretty predictive. There's been scientists who moved out of LA in the last couple of years because they knew, and they predicted pretty correctly, that there would be some major fires that are exacerbated by the climate crisis. And so their homes that they used to live in that are now somebody else's is now burned down, and they run away scot-free. I mean, how crazy is that ability to predict the future in some way? So it's just gambling, and they gambled correctly, but it's not a hard gamble. You know, if you look at the data, it's pretty clear. Anyways, it's a little story and something I was thinking. If you have any super science-heavy minded people out there, and you find that they're really annoying when they say you just don't understand the facts, you don't understand the truth, it is a little bit annoying. And maybe they can learn something. Going back over some levels. Also, should probably put things in mono. Mono really helps to make sure the levels are good.
Spices come in hundreds until yours is his mindset. Me, or just leaking through my ceiling. Occupy. Sort of distorted, but it's not. Just a family piece of law. This man you can play with papers and these.
Nice. I was like, what, an hour later or something? Oh, fuck. Getting there. Did a lot of EQs. Just carving out frequencies. Yeah, when you're mixing in mono, definitely everything gets pushed in front of you, like any frequency clashes. So, highly recommend if you're finding trouble mixing, mix in mono. At least for the beginning, for doing EQs and levels and stuff like that. Next, I'm gonna get out of mono, do some compression, saturation, other things, and then later, after that I'll probably put it in mono again, just to check everything, make sure it's sounding good, and then we'll go to reverbs and effects. And I feel like it's probably pretty important to do it this way. I know, like, mixing, I feel like I've had the most success mixing when I sort of take my time with each step going up. If I try to do too much immediately, then I kind of get lost. And then when you go back into the mix and you look at it, you're like, why is it sounding terrible? Because you didn't go step by step, it's just much harder.